Hello and welcome to the stream. Please say hi. Please let me know how you're feeling. Hi, Philip. Good afternoon to you. This is a bit of a unique time for me to do a stream. I don't think I've done one at this time before. How are you today? Let me know your experiences over the last 24 hours or so. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm an 8. That's really good. It is actually lower, though, than when I left you last night. I remember you was a 9.5. Which was pretty impressive. But an 8 is still very good. Philip, I know that I've asked you this before, and I do apologise because my memory is like a sieve. But where do you go when you find people and bring them into the stream? Whereabouts are you finding these people? And I do apologise because I know you've told me like 100 times. Um, but it's kind of funny. You just kind of disappear and then come back with like different people, and I don't fully understand where you go. I'm just curious. Discord. Okay. So is this a Discord server that you started yourself? Or is this a Discord server that you joined that's just like an ongoing one for people who are struggling? Hi, Vanquisher. Hello there. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling good. I'm just trying to figure out ways of getting the message out there. We're trying to create, a very positive group, you might call this. And just, I know that there's so many people struggling. Just trying to think of the best way to get the message out there. Philip has helped immensely by getting people who are struggling to join the discussion. Got an interesting topic to talk about today. Once we've got a few people in here, we will start. Vanquisher, how are you feeling today? Tell me how your day has been so far and what your feelings are. Vanquisher, I'm around a 6. Mostly boring because of quarantine, and the weather is kind of bad today, so stuck in my room with my own thoughts. The weather is kind of bad today. It's not great weather, and it feels a little dull. It feels like that we had a taste of summer a few days ago, and now we are reminded that we are actually still in quite early spring. So this is a place where we try to have the positivity. We try to bring some hope, and we try to soothe people who are struggling. So if you know anyone who is going through a difficult time, if you know any forums or Discord servers that you know that people are in that need a bit of support, um, then feel free to welcome them. Philip has done a great job getting more people to feel comfortable, bringing them in, and I think it all helps. We all need to stay as positive as we can, as upbeat as possible during the difficult times of lockdown, on top of any relationship problems we might be going through. So today I did want to talk a little bit about teamwork in a relationship and the importance of it. When you're in a relationship, it is so important to see yourself as part of a team, because both people are going to have down days, both people are going to have difficulties, both people are going to need support. And it's really important to see yourselves as a team and to have teamwork and to listen to each other and to share problems and to try to get through them together. In particular, if one person makes a mistake, it's important wherever possible to talk things through, to try to forgive, in difficult circumstances. And if it's not too serious and you don't really have to forgive them, but try to move on, you might say, quite quickly, so things don't fester. There's nothing worse than if you was to get your ex back, if you was to get into a relationship and then you don't implement a teamwork ethic, because before you know it, you could get dumped again. And that's terrible, if you manage to get your ex back or you manage to find a perfect relationship and then there's no teamwork, and because of that, the relationship falls apart. So I just wanted to kind of get across that feeling today, because we're all thinking positive. For people who are trying to get their ex back, there is an opportunity you will do so. And even if you don't, you will likely find somebody else, a new person that's an even better connection. And you just want to make sure that when you're in a new relationship or a relationship with your ex, which in essence is a new relationship anyway, that you have this teamwork ethic, because if you don't, then things could fall apart. And that is why you need to be thinking of it from the off. You need to be ready to understand the importance of being in a team, in a relationship, and remembering give and take, remembering situations where if you really want to do something, and your partner doesn't or can't, then, it's still important you do your own thing, but then you need to try to give something in return in a way. That's the give and take. So if you want to do something and your partner doesn't, then you should still do it, but then make sure you do something specifically with them or something that they want to do. It's about the balance and just maintaining a healthy relationship via teamwork. So for people who are looking to get their ex back, who are trying to go down that route, you need to be thinking of these things now, because this is your opportunity to improve and to think of things and to plan, because you don't want to be caught off guard. You could get your ex back at any moment. It could be tonight. It could be next week. It might be in 2 months. Could be 9 months. You don't know when it's going to happen. And if you haven't started to think of these things, if you're not prepared, then you are likely to fail. And that's why it's very, very important to be prepared. And when you're trying to improve, whatever you want to do, you want to be repeating the process. Practice makes perfect. Whether you're learning a skill, whether you're just trying to kind of read things to yourself like a mantra, almost trying to understand a new way of thinking. A saying that I like is that repetition is the mother of skill. Okay, and that doesn't really matter what you are doing, but if you are to remember that repetition is the mother of skill, then it will become easier to realize the importance of self-improvement and practice. And that's in all aspects. Even if it's a mantra to yourself about being the type of person that maybe you wasn't before, being somebody with a team ethic within you, being somebody who wants to bring a new type of intimacy to your relationship, being the type of person who understands where they went wrong before. You might be wanting to say this to yourself so you are prepared. Philip, I know what I need to do. I was everything she ever wanted at the start. I just got complacent in the last year. Complacency is something that we have all been guilty of at different times in our life. Some of us are punished for it and some of us get away with it. But once you understand it and understand complacency, that is when you need to really start saying to yourself that, okay, this isn't going to happen again. If I get this second chance, or if I meet somebody new, this isn't going to be the case. And if you can learn that lesson, then at least something positive has come from the breakup. Something positive has come from the experiences that you've had, which have been so tough. But we don't want to be going through such tough, horrible experiences and not have anything to show for it. So, if we can come out with an improved mindset, then that should be something we're really proud of. I think it's always interesting in the live streams. I'm really kind of noticing when the busy periods are and whatnot. I did think that this type of time might be busy. So I think it's quite good for people who are in Europe. And I also thought it might be quite good for people in North America. Maybe not so much for people in Asia and Australasia, but the vast majority of my subscribers are in North America and then in Europe. So I thought this could be a good time. However, it seems to be relatively low on the ground, which is good to be able to concentrate, on the people that are here and giving everybody the support that is here. But I'm always conscious that there's more people requiring support. There's clearly thousands, if not millions of people who are really struggling with this type of thing right now. And I'm always trying to think of ways of being able to reach those people, especially to help them avoid bad advice, which I do think floats around online quite a bit. Advice which has anecdotal success rates, which is basically pure luck and chance. Everything can technically work once if you look at it in a different way. Statistics and things can be manipulated. Some of the advice that I have seen and heard about online, it just beggars belief. Probably none more so than hearing advice on certain versions of different people's version of the no contact rule, where they will say things such as, if your ex gets back in touch within a certain period, you need to ignore them. I really think that is counterproductive. If your ex gets in contact with you, you then have a chance to position yourself in a better light than they remember, and you can start to try to rebuild your connection. It's very unlikely that taking advice such as that would be beneficial. So, Philip, if you begged and pleaded, not excessively, but it spanned out over 5 weeks, has that damaged any chance? I don't believe it's kind of ruined your chances long term, because what you have to remember is that most people do this. Very few people, I would imagine it's like 1%, probably less, of people deal with a breakup in the best possible way, because by the nature of a breakup, we are going to be put in emotional turmoil. So very few of us know of this information, and even less of us would be able to implement it correctly because of the turmoil. So I think most people have done what you're saying, Philip. So I don't think it's going to excessively ruin your chances long term. It's obviously not ideal at the time, but most people do behave that way. So has it damaged any chance? I don't think it's damaged your long-term chances. It probably affected the chances of a quick resolution. But hindsight is 20/20 vision, and nobody is perfect. Most people have behaved in the way you described, Philip. So please forgive yourself. Renu, yeah, you're back online. Oh, that's very kind. Hi, Vincent. What does it mean when an ex wants to be friends with you? I do not advise any dumpy to be platonic friends with a dumper if they want to be back in a relationship with them. If you don't want to be in a relationship with your ex and they ask for friendship, then that's fine. But if, as a dumpy, you want to get back in a relationship and the dumper suggests you become platonic friends, that is a recipe for disaster. You should be saying to them, along the line, in your own words, saying, I could never see you as a platonic friend. If you would ever like to chat, then please get in touch. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, then the dumper will believe you're having a platonic friendship. And as platonic friends, they will see no harm in talking to you about their new dating life. They will see no harm introducing you to their new partner. And that will break your heart again. So you don't want your heart broken again for a second time. So if you want your ex back, you should not be platonic friends with them. Vanquisher, I like this stream. I don't want to bother friends anymore. I feel like they're just sick and tired. I know what you mean. That is a natural feeling to have, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't say I begged and pleaded. I just wanted some answers since I knew it's over. I don't forgive cheaters. Well, still got no answers, so yeah, kind of pointless. At least she was honest about talking to a guy behind my back. I still want her new relationship to crash and burn. Well, most dumpies, most people in a position where a relationship has ended, are going to feel some initial anger, frustration, bitterness towards their ex. Again, that's very natural. I'm not saying it's an ideal mindset to have. And eventually, when you feel ready, you should try to forgive as much as you can, because holding on to negative energy like that isn't beneficial for you. It's not going to push you any further forward in life. So whenever you can, whenever it feels okay to forgive, you should forgive. And you should always try to work things out. It is my belief that even when there's a problem in a relationship, you need to try your hardest to work things out. A breakup should be the last resort. So if you are a dumper, then I think it needs to be a last resort to end the relationship. You should be talking things through. You should be looking at things from all angles, including your ex's perspective, the person you're about to dump's perspective, and try to see if there can be a resolution. Renu, okay, I understand. I need to say to him that I can't be friends with him. He hasn't contacted me, and I haven't contacted him. So will he be able to say? So we'll be able to say if we don't speak anymore. Well, what I would say, Renu, that if you don't speak anymore, then that is a sign that you're not really in a platonic friendship. So that's probably okay. Maybe that situation just means that you are at peace with each other, which is fine. My worry is that if you want your ex back and you get involved in a platonic friendship, which involves regular chatting and meeting up, then eventually you will have your heart broken again. So if you want them back, you can't experience a platonic friendship which is active. If you're saying you're friends and then you don't hear from them, then that's fine, because you're not going to have to see things which will break your heart. Vanquisher, it's all in the moment, I guess. Everything is in the moment. We're all living in the moment. But the important thing is you take the positives of that, because if you explore something such as mindfulness, that is really living in the moment, just concentrating on the here and now, what you are doing in this very moment. If you do that, then you can take your mind away from outer stresses. Philip, I'd stay in no contact. Absolutely. There are very few exceptions to the no contact rule that I promote, and I don't really even promote them. I have mentioned them in a couple of podcasts. I very rarely speak of them, because the problem you find is that people, that dumpies, will grab onto any possibility. So basically, if you say, okay, here's an exception to the rule, then a dumpy will kind of like twist and manipulate their own situation to a point of where they justify themselves to being in that box, and an exception, when the reality is they're probably not. The likelihood is they are not an exception, but they will do anything to try to convince themselves that they are. So then they use the exception, and it goes wrong most of the time. These exceptions are kind of, well, some of them are necessity, and some of them are last chance saloon, Hail Mary type attempts. They're not things that you can use a million times. But like if you was playing a computer game, they would be like the special move that you can use once. So you don't use them when you shouldn't, and hence I don't promote them very much at all. Ranu, okay, at least now he would know I ain't platonic friends with him if we don't speak anymore. We did speak for a month as friends, but now I pulled away when he got blunt. Was that a good thing? I think it's a good thing to pull away whenever it affects your mental health, because if I remember right, with your situation, I hope I haven't got you confused with someone else, but I think you said that your ex dumped you and then contacted you and gave you like mental distress. Like, I'm pretty sure you were saying that he got in touch and was quite unkind and horrible. You don't need that. So absolutely pull away from that. You don't want any of that nonsense. Because I thought being friends with him would help increase chances with him. As Love Advice TV said, but no, it doesn't. Now, I don't know what Love Advice TV is. Um, can anybody else talk about Love Advice TV? Has anybody else, other than Renu, heard Love Advice TV? You know, what is this? Is this an actual television channel? Is this a YouTube channel? What is Love Advice TV? It doesn't sound very good advice to me, if that's the case. Vanquisher, she was unhappy, but she didn't communicate her emotions to me. Found out that later from a mutual friend, 7-year relationship, and she bottled up her emotions. I felt like I couldn't do anything. If you are in a relationship with somebody who is not very good at communication, you are going to struggle. It can be very hard to have a relationship with somebody who won't discuss their feelings and won't talk about things because they bottle things up, and then they will just take action without even discussing it with you. Rano, yes, that is correct. He was putting me down later on in the conversations. I mean, you don't need that, Rano. You know, he's dumped you seemingly unfairly and unduly, and then he's got back in contact and verbally abused you. You know, that is just terrible. You don't need that. Love Advice TV is a YouTube channel helping to get an ex back. Well, I mean, I don't know very much about Love Advice TV other than what you just told me, but it doesn't sound good advice to me. Anybody who thinks that being platonic friends with an ex gives you a chance of getting them back is deluded. Now, I'm not saying there aren't one-off exceptions. There are always exceptions to the rule. There are always moments of magic which just happen. But I'm trying to give you statistical analytics there. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to look at the odds. Okay, and the odds are you will not be successful in this way. The odds are you will suffer if you get into this, because a platonic friend feels like there's no reason why they can't go and date other people and then discuss it with other platonic friends. And you don't want that. That would break your heart. So if you feel that my support has helped you today in today's live stream, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link is in the description. I've just put it into the chat. So if you feel that my support has helped you today in this live stream, please consider buying me a coffee. You just click the link and it's very easily done from there. So Ranu, I just wanted to wonder, in your opinion, what does it mean if an ex wants to be friends with you? Generally, if they want to be friends with you, it means they want to have their whole cake and eat it. That is an expression which basically means they want everything. They want you there as like a backup. They want you there for the things they enjoyed about your connection. So they probably like certain aspects of your connection, but they didn't feel romantic attraction. So they're thinking, well, I still want that person to do that for me. I still want them there for me, but I want to date other people, you know, and it's not fair on a dumpy who has a broken heart. Vanquisher, yeah, I guess she did that at the end. I mean, okay, we talked and things didn't change. I would understand her decision. Also, there were ways to talk to me, write a letter, email, something. Yeah, that's the problem. You know, your ex had multiple ways that she could have spoke to you. Okay, and she selected not to. And that's when you need to look at it and think, okay, like, why should, for any dumpy who is wondering about if they should reach out, think to yourself about the dumper. The dumper isn't reaching out, you know, at this initial stage. The dumper isn't doing all of these things, and yet you really want them. Okay, so think of it that way. Think, well, why should you be the one to do the reaching out and things? Why should you be pushing the envelope out? Because they are the ones who are not providing you with communication. But the problem is you don't see it when you're in it. When you're in it, you don't see it. You only see it when you're out of it. So it can be very difficult to understand. That is why I was saying at the start of the stream that relationships need teamwork. That is what we are promoting, particularly in today's stream. It is teamwork within a relationship, and that needs communication levels to be strong. It needs communication to be open. Anything should be on the table to be discussed. There should be no awkwardness. If you have that in your relationship, you are going to struggle, because sooner or later there will be some type of problem that just needs discussing. And if it's not discussed, then it can grow into this large, uncontrollable negativity, which can cause a breakup. Renu, I wanted to know, because I spoke to him for a month as friends, did I ruin my chance of him considering me to take me back? Or do you think he now sees me as a friend? And we were speaking every day. I think at the time, you ruined your chance of getting back. So like during that month of talking every day, in that month, you was never going to get back in a relationship with him. And seemingly you didn't. So you have seen your own evidence. You spoke every day for a month as a platonic friend, and it did not turn into a relationship. You stand a much better chance now when you are not talking. You know, I really suggest you implement my version of a no contact rule, which is basically you never contact your ex again unless they contact you first. Just follow that system and you will start to increase the chances of one day hearing from your ex again. And if you do hear from him again, then you exchange some messages, you move through the communication levels, and you eventually try to meet when we are out of lockdown and we're legally allowed to, of course. If he starts abusing you, if he starts being horrible to you, you end the conversation. You don't need that. You do not need to put up with somebody being horrible and cruel. So please remember that. Hello and welcome to the stream. For the people that have just come in, please say hi. Please let me know how you're feeling. Vanquisher, yeah, that's what I'm doing. You wanted me out of my life? Well, there you go. Yeah, you know, it's basically, they've made a decision. We need to be people who are respectful and respect the decision, but then we move forward with our life. You know, we are not defined by our exes. And if they want to get in touch because they miss us, well, then it's up to us if we reply. It's up to us if we have a conversation. It's up to us if we take them back. The power moves to us. It's a power shift. Ranu. Okay, that's going to be hard for me, but I will listen to it and do it. What I would say, Ranu, if you are struggling, just think of it this way. Has anything else you tried worked so far? You know, Love Advice TV told you to talk every day to your ex. Love Advice TV told you to be platonic friends with your ex. And what happened? You spoke every day for a month. He was abusive to you verbally and in messages. He was saying horrible things. Like, in what way was that positive? You didn't get back in a relationship. And not only that, you had to put up with him being horrible. Doesn't sound like anything nice came from that at all. I'm curious about this Love Advice TV now. I'd love to know what on earth they base their concepts on. You know, I'm not saying fall out with your ex. You know, like you've got to be subtle. You have to read between the lines here. You leave a communication open, okay? You be respectful in a very difficult circumstance. You don't get angry. You don't start shouting about at your ex. You've got to stay emotionally stable. So in a kind of way, you are kind of friends in the respect of you're not an enemy. You're not an enemy of your ex. What I'm saying is, you're just like, look, I've got no negativity towards you. I've got no anger towards you. However, I'm not going to spend time with you as friends because I want to be with you romantically. And if you don't want to be, then that's going to hurt me. But I just don't understand what this Love Advice TV is promoting. Rano, and is there a chance that when I do this no contact, would he miss me and consider that him breaking up with me is the right choice? There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. There is nothing you can do that always works. But if you implement my version of the no contact rule, it will start to pull on his feelings and emotions, and he will start to wonder about you. Whether that is enough to make him get in contact again, that is all dependent on how low his current attraction level is for you. Because it will pull it up, but if it's really, really low, then there's nothing you can do. But you don't know that until you try it. It might take days, weeks, months, years, or in Philip's record-breaking account, over a decade. But exes get back in touch when they get pulled over that line. So hello to everybody who's just joined the stream. It looks like we've got a few new members in the house. So please say hi. Please let us know your feelings. Tell us about your experiences and your situation. Rano, he does look at my Snap stories really quickly. So it seems like he's attracted to see what I'm up to, I guess. Definitely. You know, you are using advice which I kind of promote. You know, I promote using social media as a way to really enhance your chances of trying to get your ex back and to pull on their intrigue. So you're doing the right thing. Before, when we spoke, he wasn't looking at them quickly, but now he does. And he started this when we stopped speaking. Well, there you go. More evidence, more proof that interest and intrigue starts to build when we are no longer connected. Being connected doesn't create mystery. It doesn't create wonder. It doesn't create the feeling of missing someone. You don't miss someone if you are talking every day. Okay, that's good. What things could I post to increase my chances of attracting them on social media? Well, that would depend. I only have Snapchat, so I don't have Instagram. So I can't post anything on Instagram or Facebook, so I don't have them too. See, this is where it gets more intricate and more dependent on your exact situation. Serenu, what I would suggest is that if you would like me to really delve into your situation individually, as a unique kind of situation, you might want to consider having email coaching. because when I'm doing these live streams, I have to be quite broad. You know, I need to know more about you and your story. If you go to my website, datetome.tips, www.datetome.tips, if you look down on my website, you will find a section called email coaching. And if you think that could be of interest to you, then please get in touch that way. And I think I could help you then on an individual basis. It's just I can't really go into individual situations in depth when I'm doing my podcasts or in my books or on the live streams. Muad, we have distant relationship and long-term one, 9 years. We had a bad argument. We broke up. I wanted her back, but she kept blocking me every chance I got. After 2 months, she married some man. Okay. So Muad, what I would say is that when an ex has got married to somebody new, that is a point where we really need to focus on ourselves, okay? You really need to be focusing on yourself, believing in yourself as a person, going through self-improvement, and moving forward every day with your life, because it is now time to understand that you are worthy of finding somebody incredible. You will find someone who ticks more boxes than your ex ever did, okay? But it is now time to try to move forward, to think positive, to think of the future rather than the past. Because if your ex has married somebody, even though it was very quickly, and even though it might not last, we have to respect the vows of marriage, and therefore we can't attempt to get our ex back when they are married to someone else. So for now, you need to be focusing, moving forward. You will find somebody who connects with you even better than your ex did. Philip, I'm going to start reposting soon, as I was finding I was just posting to see if she would look. Oh, okay. And that's the thing, Philip. You know, I do believe massively in social media and in the way that you can use it to your advantage. So I think that's a good idea. You know, you want to be doing that. Renu, okay, I understand. If can offer, it will definitely get in touch. That's why I go to your lives. You're very, very kind. Now, I must say that unfortunately, I do actually have to go. I didn't realise the time, and I do have to leave. I'm apologising, but it's quite abruptly. But I didn't realise the time. So it's been a fantastic live stream. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the bell, because if you do that, you will be notified if I do another live stream. And if you feel that my support has helped you, please consider buying me a coffee. There is the link. You click that. It's very easy to do. If you feel that my support has helped you today, please consider buying me a coffee. It's been fantastic to speak with you all. I do live streams. Most days I've done one every day for over a week. Some days I've done 2 or 3. And I do apologise that I have to go so abruptly. As I said, I didn't realise the time. And I've just thought, oh gosh. So thank you, Muad. Thank you so much, sir. I will take your advice into consideration. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for getting involved in the stream. Please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications. Renu, thank you. Well, thank you for being involved. Vanquisher, all is good, Vincent. Have a nice day. Thank you very much, Vanquisher. I might come back later live. I don't know. If you subscribe, you will be notified. Thank you so much, Philip, for everything you do. And for everybody else who was involved in the stream. It's been a pleasure. And I will see you all very soon. But for now, thank you and goodbye.